Well, this is an initiative of the Russian foreign minister, and he initiated this call during a seminar organized by the Middle East Institute Studies. It's a body that is related or part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Russia. And there he has, during his speech, where some Palestinian leaders were attending there. From the authority, there was Ahmad Majdalani, and from the opposition, there was Dr. Nasser Qudwa, and he called for this. Well, Russia is trying to be active into having some influence on this file, and I think this is one of the initiatives. But we should take into consideration that only 1 week ago, President Abbas has been in Doha, and there Hamas rejected meeting him. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that there is a good enough dynamics among or between Abbas and Hamas to start some kind of fruitful dialogue on the day after, and what kind of reforms should be adopted by the authority. These two regimes have been very much disappointing for the Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. The Palestinian people didn't really gain anything from the last 15, 16 years where Abbas has been ruling the West Bank, and all what he has given to the Palestinian people is disappointment and corruption, while also Hamas has been ruling Gaza, and the people continued to suffer. They didn't have drinkable water even before the war. They didn't have electricity, and all what Hamas has brought to them is destruction. So the corruption and destruction models in the West Bank and Gaza that these leaders represent are not exactly what people are looking for. The Palestinian people would see real reform, would like to see dynamic, energetic, representative, accountable leadership that is bringing democracy, that is trying to open doors for development, replacing the construction and the corruption by replacing the destruction and the corruption by construction. And I don't see that among these leaders there are those who can offer this.
So that brings me, of course, to my next question. I mean, elections are seen by many in the international community as a key stage in the reform and the revival of the Palestinian Authority in of itself, which is today, like you said, seen by Palestinians as corrupt and ineffective. So what does the Palestinian public want to see happen in terms of leadership if they don't see the Palestinian Authority as viable, and if what you're saying is true and that, you know, people do want to see the removal of Hamas, even though obviously there have been polls coming out suggesting otherwise? Who would be the replacement for these different, you know, Palestinian leadership entities?
Well, I think somebody from the opposition that has not been part of the corruption, that has not been part of what's happening now to Gaza, is a good alternative. People would like to see different faces. And the only two opponents for President Arafat, for President Abu Mazen, from within Fatah, who are not considered to be radical, not extreme, who believe more into approaching the Israelis through diplomacy and trying to find a working relationship with Israel and the regional countries in order to change the reality of life that the Palestinians are passing through, are Mohammad Dahlan and Nasser Qudwa. And Mohammad Dahlan does not personally want to have a job, so we are left with one choice. So I think, and there are a lot of good Palestinians. I'm just not just saying that only these peoples can have the trust of the Palestinian people. There are a lot of good people who can come up and prove that they can build up a new regime that is able to be connected with the people.
Right, but some are we hearing
is totally disconnected.
Are we hearing, though, you know, I guess a call from the Palestinian public to follow some of these leaders that you're mentioning? Is there any type of public uproar in the works, I guess, right now in terms of finding a future solution for leadership, especially given that we know there's no chance that Israel is going to accept Hamas's leadership in any way?
Well, I think the Palestinians have learned a lesson from the 7th of October. Also, the Israelis have learned a lesson. Everybody have learned a lesson. And one of the most important lessons that we have learned as Palestinians is that if we want to convince the others, the world, the Israelis, that we are a state and we deserve to be identified as a state and recognized as a state, we need ourselves, the Palestinians, to act as a state. We need to recognize the states ourselves. So, and one important aspect of this, statehood, they have only one arm. We cannot allow in statehood any group or any individual who possess arms to launch war on behalf of Palestinians. And if we want to be a state, we need to have a transparent, accountable system. We need to have democracy. We need to respect the right of our people internally before trying to advocate our national rights in front of the others. So we need to bring a good example of statehood. And the Palestinian people, they know that this is the first step ahead. So there is no place for Hamas to rule Gaza now. And even Hamas themselves, they know this. They need to deliver the keys to a new type of leadership. There is a lot of discussions inside the Palestinian society. Right. There is a lot of discussions inside Fatah. And there is a lot of ideas of how can we unlock two important issues. The first issue, how can we make a change in the leadership? And most probably we need to find an exit for President Abbas, an honorable exit, right, where he maybe goes into a status of an honorable president, just like the Israeli president, where he is the symbol of the state, but he does not possess power. He needs to move all his power to the new political group that will be representing the Palestinians. And then the second issue that we need to unlock, how can we convince the Israelis that we will be able to create a security mechanism that will protect them? Because the Israelis, if they don't feel that they are protected, they can trust a certain security mechanism, they will not pull out from Gaza. Yeah. So these are two issues that we need to find solutions to as Palestinians.